Now we're gonna get on the floor. Hey guys, good early morning to each and every single one of you. Welcome back to the channel, United Red Devils 20 on YouTube. Hope we're all having a great start to the early hours of this Sunday morning. Hope we're all looking forward to the day. Hope we're all looking forward to the rest of the weekend. And I hope we're all looking forward to a brand new week in February 2024 this year. First of all, do me a massive favour for me. Hit the like button, hit the share button, hit the subscribe button if you're new to the channel. United Red Devils 20 on YouTube. Share the video, hit the tweet button, hit the retweet button, and remember to always put the notification bell on at all times as well to receive dedicated content right throughout the rest of 2024 this year on United Red Devils 20 on YouTube for brand new videos, shorts, live streams, a free giveaway that is going to be announced and given away this week as well after reaching that iconic 4-digit number in 1,000 subscribers, and much more brand stuff planned for the rest of 2024. And obviously, today is match day 23 of the 23-24 Premier League season. Manchester United up against West Ham United at Old Trafford, live on the Sky Sports main event and Sky Sports Premier League channel. 2 p.m. home afternoon kickoff at Old Trafford. Another must-win game, another crucial 3 points for Manchester United that we must win today. And obviously, Manchester United are going to be seeking revenge from West Ham following, the dismantling West Ham gave us at the London Stadium just before 2024, which was an absolute humbling defeat at the London Stadium when Manchester United got blown away by a bubble machine in Paqueta and Bowen. So today is a very, very much big game for Manchester United to win again at Old Trafford. Obviously, from historic comeback against Wolves on Thursday night, Manchester United need to do what they did to Wolves in their first half against West Ham on today, is to dominate the ball, dominate possession, let's dominate the game, and let's put West Ham away. Manchester United got very, very lucky on Thursday. I honestly still scratch my head thinking how the hell we beat Wolves. Honestly, I still don't know how we did it. I still don't know how Manchester United got those 3 points, but the comeback, the chances, the opportunities we had on the Wolves goal, we now need to start converting a bit more in front of goal. Manchester United need to start, keeping a clean sheet again because we are now at 50 goals plus. We have let in with Onana in goal this season. And obviously, we are still trying to get players back from injury. And we are still really trying to find our best team, our best players. And we're still trying to get that style of play that Erik ten Hag is desperately trying to get out of these Manchester United players. And I think for me today, if Manchester United can win, then, top 4 still mathematically is still possible with the fixtures we've got coming up. I think, we've got a good run of fixtures in this month in February that Manchester United can get points from. But it's about keeping this consistency up. We haven't lost now in 3 games, which is obviously a positive step in the right direction, in my view and in my opinion. But we need to start being able to put teams like West Ham and Wolves away from home and at home as well. We need to start putting them away because the more chances Manchester United have in front of goal and the more they don't take, the more likely a chance of the opposition coming back into the game, finding a winning goal, finding a draw, finding a point to take away from Old Trafford. And West Ham is going to be a tricky game. I'm not saying this is going to be as easy as a test as what it was against Wolves on Thursday, where the floodgates really could have opened at Molineux. It could have been 6, 7, 8-0 in the first half because of how well Manchester United were playing against Wolves at Molineux. Like, you didn't really expect Manchester United to go there and dominate that whole first half. We were literally, all over that Wolves team. It was backs against the wall for that whole entire Wolves starting 11, and especially their back four that, simply couldn't cope with Manchester United's counter attacking press every single time United got the ball forward. Wolves were absolutely shit scared of what Manchester United were going to do next. And I think, I've seen West Ham plenty of times enough this season to say, I think West Ham all of a sudden now are going backwards under David Moyes. Like, they haven't won a game now in 3 or 4 matches. I think for me, maybe the Europa League has taken a toll on the West Ham squad. I don't think players going to the African Cup of Nations has helped West Ham either. And I think West Ham have got by with a lot of results this season. I think some of the goals West Ham have scored as well, they are massively reliant on three players in that team, and we know who they all are. West Ham United are massively reliant on Jared Bowen. They're massively reliant on Mohamed Kudus, and they are massively reliant on Lucas Paqueta. Without those three in that West Ham team, West Ham are a bang average mid-table Premier League club. I've watched them at Ashton Gate against Bristol City in the FA Cup, which they lost 1-0. I watched the highlights of them away to Sheffield United, and I've watched their last game as well. And that West Ham team does not look very convincing at the moment. I think for me, David Moyes is still not the right manager for their club. I don't think for me, West Ham, are in the right position. They may be above Manchester United and Chelsea at this current moment in time in the Premier League table. The facts don't lie. But I think West Ham are in a very, very false position. I think West Ham have got very, very lucky with some of the results they've had this season. I think some of the players they've had, they've relied on them to do most of the dirty work for them. And I think for me, the rest of that West Ham team, again, it's not very good. Like, I think, the failure of not being able to hold on to Declan Rice is now starting to come to fruition. I think for me, Declan Rice was an absolute leader and maestro in that West Ham midfield. And I think now West Ham are still really, really struggling without him. And I've started to notice it in the last few West Ham performances that West Ham are lacking a lack of quality. And you think to yourself, without Mohamed Kudus on that right wing, West Ham don't really have an attacking threat. Without Jared Bowen up front, they don't really have an attacking threat. Without Paqueta in their midfield, they don't really have that one decent midfield player that is able to do the whole midfield for the West Ham job that they need to do. And I think for me now, it's going to be a stern test for them, because I think if Manchester United were to go 1-0 up, I think for me, we need to make the floodgates open. We need to batter West Ham. Like, I do want revenge what happens in the previous fixture where we lost 2-0 before 2024. And Manchester United, it wasn't looking very good. It was looking very, very, dangerous about what was going to happen in the brand new year. And it was looking at a point that maybe Eric Ten Hag isn't in charge for the January transfer window, or maybe, they sack him before the new year and bring in an interim till we get till the end of the season in May. But all of a sudden now, I think, the players coming back have really, really helped our injury problems. I think, the only concern I've got ahead of today's game is if Lisandro Martinez is not playing at centre-back, because obviously the pictures don't lie, the facts don't lie. Everyone saw Lisandro Martinez get an ice pack on that ankle on the same foot that he's had two bad previous injuries with. And it's always a massive, massive concern soon as an ice pack is, put onto the foot, the ankle, the arm, or anywhere on the body. The questions and the nerves and the anxiety of the fans starts getting, a little bit more intense, because Lisandro Martinez and Varane are our best two centre-back combinations by an absolute mile. No one else is trusted in that defence except for Varane and Lisandro Martinez. And I think for me, without them in that centre-back partnership, Manchester United conceded way too many goals. Manchester United are very, very unstable at the back. And I think for me, it says a lot now that all of a sudden, since they've both been back fit and both been fit to be back in the starting lineup, Maguire deserves to be on the bench. Victor Lindelof, obviously, is still injured, won't be available for the West Ham game, unfortunately, as well. And I think for me, there's no place, obviously, now for Victor Lindelof anyway. I don't think he should be at the club. He's injury prone. Manchester United are better off getting rid of an injury prone player than keeping one, because it's more likely just going to go wrong if Victor Lindelof stays at this club, because he's still going to be behind Varane. He's still going to be behind Lisandro Martinez. And I don't think he's going to get back in this Man United team anytime soon. But obviously, it depends on that foot problem for Lisandro Martinez. I'm hoping he's going to start. I'm hoping he will be fit in time for the game. And I'm really, really hoping that we see probably most likely the same starting lineup that started against Wolves, which was, Onana, Dalot, Varane, Martinez, Shaw, Casemiro, Mainu, Fernandes, Rashford, Højlund, Garnacho. For me at the moment, that's Manchester United's strongest lineup. That is our best players. That is our best team. And I don't think, for me, we can make any major changes. I think the team we've got at the moment is probably our best team on the pitch, because Obviously, I have started to see a turnaround. Manchester United are starting to score goals again. But yes, the results on the pitch, we are really, really still scraping the barrel. The Wolves game, we should have put them away. We didn't take our chances and we scraped a 4-3 win. And Man United got away with it Thursday. Like I said on the match reaction, it could have been a lot of a different outcome if Manchester United would have lost that game or that game ends 3-3. My reaction would have been a lot different to what it was when Kobe Mainoo scored that winning goal. And I think for me, I've always stated about this Man United team going forward that a younger, hungrier team will do Manchester United the world of good for next season. I think the age of our squad is starting to show. We are seeing the liabilities. We're seeing the frail football, and we are seeing we're still seeing the same old mistakes. We're still seeing the same old errors that these players can't seem to get rid of. And I think Manchester United need to build a hungrier team. I think Manchester United need a younger team to go forward with in the future. I think we need to build from a solid foundation, first of all. Obviously, Kobe Mainoo is probably one of the best young midfielders in the Prem at this current moment in time. I think Højlund, the doubters and the haters have all of a sudden started to shut up. Højlund has started to find the back of the net on a bit more of a consistent basis. And I think Garnacho, for me, I've always stated about Alejandro Garnacho that, even on Thursday, I was again very, very frustrated that I'm seeing Garnacho out on the right wing, where I think for me, his position in the team should be on the left. I think for me, that is Garnacho's preferred position. I think Garnacho causes a lot more damage and a lot more problems to an aging back four against a Wolves team. And, they couldn't keep our front three quiet. That front three were just absolutely dismantling that Wolves back four. I couldn't believe how open Wolves were. But, West Ham have got a really, really strong back four. Kufau, Suma, Mavropanos, Emerson as well, the ex-Chelsea reject. West Ham have got a very, very strong back four, but they do concede a shitload of goals. Like in their previous Premier League meeting, you're expecting West Ham to go away to Sheffield United and win. Like against a Sheffield United team that are basically confined to relegation, going to be relegated straight back to the Championship at the first attempt after only being back in the Prem for one season. You would have expected West Ham in their last match to beat Sheffield United. It is a massive L. It is an embarrassing side of things if you're a West Ham fan and you're a West Ham supporter. It is an embarrassing way to think your club should be doing a lot better than what it's doing on the pitch. And I think West Ham all of a sudden have gone backwards since that Bristol City result. I've seen West Ham absolutely crumble. And, West Ham have let players go. In this last week, they've let Saeed Benrahma's gone to Lyon on loan till the end of the season with an option to buy. Pablo Fornals has also gone to Real Betis on the permanent transfer to Spain to play in the Liga under Manuel Pellegrini, ex-West Ham manager as well. So, West Ham are very, very dwindling with options. And I think if Jared Bowen and Paquetá and also Mohamed Kudus aren't in the West Ham team for today's fixture, I think Manchester United have got a really, really good chance of winning this game, because if you can shut those three out, if you can keep those three quiet, Manchester United will have a very, very comfortable afternoon. But if we let West Ham come and do what they normally do and get their style of play put on the fixture very, very quickly, I do expect it to be a tricky game. Like, I do massively rate Mohamed Kudus. He's a fantastic, fantastic right winger. I think for me, the right winger we should have gone for instead of Anthony, in my view now. I think Kudus would have been a much better option for Manchester United on the right wing, because he's proving himself in the Premier League very quickly. He's scoring the goals West Ham need. And on their right wing, they've basically got a right winger there for the future that is not going to be any problem. That's not going to cause any trouble. And there's going to be a winger here that is going to deal damage to the opposition team. And I think for me, if you can keep him quiet, we should be able to shut that right wing problem out. Because if you've got Luke Shaw going at him, and if Luke Shaw can play as well as he did, what I thought he did in the first half in the Wolves fixture at Molineux, for me, that was Luke Shaw's best performance in that first half. He was very, very consistent. I've not seen this Luke Shaw play like this for a very, very long time. And I think all of a sudden now we are seeing these Manchester United players step up. I don't know why all of a sudden we have seen, a much changed team. I don't know all of a sudden where we found all these goals from, because the big problem all season has been scoring goals with these set of players. I don't know why all of a sudden we are now finding the back of the net on quite an often scale, where that's been the problem all season. We've basically relied on Rasmus Højlund to get us the goals. And our other top goal scorer is our Scottish midfielder in Scott McTominay. Like, if anyone was to tell me at the start of this Premier League season last year in 2023 that Manchester United were going to be heavily reliant on Scott McTominay and Rasmus Højlund season to provide Manchester United the goals that they need, I wouldn't have believed you. I really, really, really would have sat down with you and had an honest and brutal and open conversation that Scott McTominay and Rasmus Højlund would not be Manchester United's top goal scorers in this team. I wouldn't have believed you the way we were scoring goals last season. I wouldn't have believed you the way Marcus Rashford was playing. Like, I wouldn't have believed anyone. I wouldn't believe anyone. And yes, again, we were reliant on those two again on Thursday. If you think about it, Højlund scored again. His scoring form is shutting up the critics. His goal scoring is shutting up the haters. It's shutting out the doubters. Rasmus Højlund now is starting to come to fruition. What I mean by that is that price tag is now starting to pay off little by little with the goals that he is now scoring in this team. And I don't know if it's been down to a lack of confidence or, the main problem I think has been is getting the ball to him. He's been getting no service from the left wing and the right wing, and he hasn't been getting any service from the midfield as well because we play such a dynamic style of play that we try and build from the back and try and break the opposition on the counter-attack. I think this is why Rasmus Højlund has been absolutely starved of so many goals this season. And I think for me, that has been Manchester United's main problem. We've not been getting the ball to Højlund enough. And this is why I think Man United has struggled to have a consistent goal scorer. And for me, again, that does need to be solved in the summer. We do need a prolific goal scoring striker. I think Rasmus Højlund is going to come very, very, very good for this team, and he will score the goals that I think everyone is expecting him to do. But, patience is key. We're not a take that song. It is going to take a hell of a lot of patience for Rasmus Højlund to bang goals in every single game. Like, he's still 20 years old. Like, he's younger than me. And he is going to take time to settle in this Man United team. He's going to take time to settle in the Premier League. But now all of a sudden that is, a goal against Newport, a goal against Tottenham, a goal against Wolves. That's 3 goals in 3 games. And he won goal of the month for his strike against Tottenham in the previous Premier League home fixture against Tottenham. And, all of a sudden now, I'm starting to see the Rasmus Højlund I knew we signed. I'm starting to see that player shine upon this Manchester United team. And that is down to the goal scoring ability that this guy has got. Like, he's still got a lot of development. He's still got a hell of a lot to learn at Manchester United, but the goal scoring will come to him now. And I do believe he'll keep this goal scoring form up. I think this could be a hefty scoreline for Manchester United. I'm feeling very confident we can beat West Ham. And like I said, if you can shut down the 3 main problems I think in that West Ham team are in Bowen and Paqueta and Mohamed Kudus. And also, in addition to that, the main 3 threat, I would also try and, don't let West Ham get too many corners. Don't let West Ham get too many set pieces. Don't let West Ham get too many free kicks either, because they have got James Ward-Prowse in this midfield and, a very, very, very highly rated player that I would have loved to have seen at Manchester United. I think this has been an absolute genius signing from West Ham United's point of view. I think James Ward-Prowse, to me, is the midfielder that you were desperate for, and obviously you caved in at Southampton's price in the end to get your number 1 midfield priority target. And I think, the goals he's scoring now, not just from set pieces, but from the penalty spot, James Ward-Prowse keeps that up. I can see him getting in the England team for the Euros. I think James Ward-Prowse is a deadly, deadly set piece taker from corners, from free kicks. James Ward-Prowse has got the ability to cause, a back four that is not very tall, not got very good height. And Ward-Prowse's deliveries are absolutely phenomenal. I've not seen anyone like Ward-Prowse's ability since the days of David Beckham. I've not seen that style of play from an English midfielder since the days of David Beckham. I've not seen that. And now I think Ward-Prowse is now starting to deliver West Ham on all four fronts. And again, another dangerous player that Manchester United are going to shut down. And they're going to have to, they're going to have to get out these West Ham players. We can't just afford to just sit back and do what we did in that Wolves game. When you're 2-0 up, don't let Wolves onto you. Don't let them back in the game. Don't be sloppy. Don't go and concede stupid goals from stupid decision making. We need to start being a consistent, hard-working team. And that is, you've got to keep West Ham out with every single opportunity they get in front of the Man United goal. I'm hoping that isn't going to be too many. I'm really hoping that we do not let West Ham, do what they do. As soon as they start controlling the game, all of a sudden now, West Ham, for me, under David Moyes, you may have won the BTEC Champions League and Europa Conference League, and you can blow your bubbles, your fairy liquid, your bubble bath, your shampoo, your conditioner as much as you like. But I think since winning that Europa Conference League, I think West Ham have gradually got worse. I don't think they've been that great. Yes, you're in European spots again, and you're in UEFA Europa League, knockout phases now. But it's that Bristol City result that has fucked you over. And all of a sudden, the performances from those West Ham players, they've fallen off a cliff. And I think it's down to, they didn't expect to go to Ashton Gate, to Bristol, and lose to a championship team that is still trying to get its identity identified at Bristol City under the new manager, Liam Manning. And I think for me, West Ham really struggled to keep out a youthful team because, Bristol City did have a youthful attack going at that West Ham back four, and Bristol City were carving West Ham open. It was like we were the Premier League club. It was like, West Ham have come here and we're playing them off the park, which they did, which didn't help West Ham in the end was having Saeed Benrahma sent off, which was then making it harder for West Ham to defend the Bristol City counter-attack because when you're a man down, it's 11 against 10, you are going to expect the absolute onslaught from the opposition because you're the man down and you've got to try and defend this 1-0 lead and try and keep a clean sheet. But West Ham still went for it and they still caused Bristol City problems, but eventually got knocked out the FA Cup. So the only thing left now for West Ham to really win is the UEFA Europa League. I think they could do it. I think they could because I think they've got the players good enough to be able to get to the latter stages of the competition. But I just don't think West Ham's form in the Prem is that great. I mean, look what happened against FC Bournemouth on Thursday night. Sorry, look what happened in that kickoff at the London Stadium. Like they gave a debut to Calvin Phillips again, excellent signing. Probably expecting him to start in that West Ham midfield three today. So West Ham's midfield at the minute is probably looking very good, on par with probably the top 5 other clubs in England in the Prem. You've got Calvin Phillips, Paqueta, and James Ward-Prowse in that midfield three now. For me, a very, very good midfield three. Like I would have taken Calvin Phillips at Manchester United. I would have taken Paqueta. I would have loved James Ward-Prowse. I would have loved those three over Scott McTominay, Mason Mount, and Christian Eriksen because they're all younger. Age is on their side, the quality's in their style of play, and they make West Ham opportunities happen. They all make goals happen. They make set pieces. They make West Ham set pieces and strategic defensively. They make West Ham a lot stronger. And I think for me, what happened at the London Stadium against Bournemouth was, you've given that debut to Calvin Phillips, and obviously he's not quite adapted to that style of play that David Moyes is wanting him at West Ham United, because obviously West Ham went in everything and they got the player they wanted, and they've obviously got him on a season on long loan deal till the end of this current season with a 40 million buy option. And I think for me, that debut wasn't great. I mean, the mistake which led to the AFC Bournemouth opener because he played such a sloppy, slow, stupid back pass to Areola, and basically Dominic Solanke has a one-on-one with Areola. Areola's already come out of his goal, trying to close Solanke down, but Solanke has then slotted the ball under him, and it's rolled into the bottom right-hand corner of the West Ham United net, and it's given AFC Bournemouth a shock 1-0 lead, where, you'd have expected West Ham to beat teams like Bournemouth. No disrespect, but Bournemouth are having a fantastic season, by the way. I think they're playing some very good football under this new manager, and it's got a very good style of play already, adapting to Premier League football. And I think Bournemouth, they were a big threat against West Ham. You look at the opportunities they had at the London Stadium. Bournemouth could have walked away with those 3 points. They could have walked away with a very good win, and they could have beaten West Ham. And West Ham are going to be licking their wounds from Thursday night, because defensively, I thought West Ham were a horror show, and they're going to be tired from Thursday. So will Manchester United. I don't think playing 3 days after, a big Premier League away game or a big Premier League home game is going to help either team up today. I don't think it's going to help either team. I think these players are going to be absolutely knackered. I don't think these players really are going to be able to cope with the pressure they're under to deliver top class quality football for their teams, for the club they play for, because I think the fatigue's going to be there. And of course, West Ham had to really fight for that point. It took, a James Ward-Prowse penalty to get them that point. But I think Manchester United are slightly on the back foot here. And why I say that is, when you're 2-0 up away at Molineux and you're dominating that first half, and you've got 2 unfair disallowed goals that shouldn't have been ruled out by VAR because both goals aren't offside, and then you've got chance after chance to get this game done and won in the first half, so Erik ten Hag could have been able to rotate in the second half. And I don't think Erik ten Hag saw the Wolves comeback coming. I don't think Erik ten Hag really expected his Manchester United players to absolutely, throw not just a 2-0 lead away. When you go 3-1 up, you don't expect Manchester United to go and concede 2 sloppy, stupid goals for Wolves to basically claim a point. Those Wolves fans were absolutely going wild. They went absolutely mental. I was fuming beyond belief that we have thrown a win away twice at 2 different points of the game, not just at 2-0, but at 3-1 as well. You wouldn't expect a top team like Man City or Liverpool or Arsenal or Spurs to do that. At Manchester United, we make the impossible possible. And I think we've got to stop that from happening. We've got to start burying these teams, because teams like that, you would expect Manchester United to beat. No disrespect to anyone who's a Wolves or a West Ham fan. You would expect Manchester United to come out on top and be the better team due to the quality of the players and the opposition you come up against, especially when you are away from home. West Ham always find it really, really tricky at Old Trafford. They always, always try and park the bus. I mean, we only squeaked a 1-0 home win last season. In last season's Premier League, we only sneaked a 1-0 home win, and it was extremely tough to break down that West Ham team. It was already strong enough with Paqueta in there, Declan Rice in there, and obviously, Declan Rice and Paqueta were their midfield too, and obviously Jared Bowen in there as well. So, again, West Ham have really improved their depth in the midfield. They've improved the quality of their attack through Mohamed Kudus. And I think now I don't think West Ham look very balanced. I think without Declan Rice, they look all over the shop. I don't think, for me, they've got any real leader in that team either. And I think defensively, Kurt Zuma's questionable at times. He's absolutely shocking defensively. I think that Mavropanos, who they brought in, the Greek centre-back, don't really rate him either. I don't think he's good enough for West Ham either. I think Kufau is very, very questionable at time when he's got a younger, hungrier left winger running at him. And I think, Emerson, the ex-Chelsea reject, which Chelsea obviously didn't see anything in, defensively, when he's at left back, he gets exposed and he leaves massive, massive gaps for the opposition to find the ball through to their West Ham penalty area. As soon as you get in their penalty area, West Ham are shitting the bricks. West Ham is shitting their bubbles. Their literal bubbles are coming out their ass. They don't know what to do. They don't know what to do with that. And I think, for me, West Ham are going to try and get a point today. They are going to absolutely try and park the bus as much as possible. They are going to try and grind out for a point. And that might happen. I think both teams will feel the effects of Thursday night. But that's no excuse. Those Manchester United players have got a big job today, because we do need to win this game, because Brighton won against Crystal Palace. They beat them 3-0. Villa beat Sheffield United 5-0 away from home at Bramall Lane. Liverpool, Arsenal today. Brentford, Man City on Monday. Chelsea are playing Wolves today. So again, we are relying on results, and we need to keep pace with this chasing pack, because if we let Villa get away, we let Newcastle get away, and we let Brighton get away, and let West Ham get away from us, we ain't chasing anyone. The only chase is going to be with ourselves. We're not Bradley Walsh and ITV watching the chase at 5 o'clock at tea time. The chase now is very much, we need to get to that chase, and we need to keep up with these lot, because we do need to get into Europe next season. We do need to be playing European football. Finishing 8th at the current moment as it stands, we're not going to be in Europe. We are not going to be in a European competition. That has never happened, I think, since the days of George Graham, when Manchester United got relegated, when we was Newton Heath, and Dennis Law, who played for Man City back then, scored the winning goal to get Manchester United relegated. So again, it is very much, the pressure is more likely on Manchester United to keep this consistent up. We've gone 3 games unbeaten, which is a massive step in the right direction. But it's just the Premier League results that have been really, really bouncy. More bouncy than a bunch of potholes on a really, really shit piece of road, on a piece of tarmac, on a piece of, cement on a football court. Like, we need to stop going over this bumpy patch. We need to start, okay, we beat Wolves, but we need to improve defensively. We need to stop conceding the goals we are conceding. We need to stop, getting a bit cocky, too arrogant, and thinking the game is won and the game is done. When we are in a comfortable position, when we go 2-0 up, we need to build on that. Don't let the opposition back into it, because they'll find a comeback. And that is what Wolves did. When you concede a 2-goal lead twice, that for me at Manchester United level is not forgivable. I'm really sorry to say. And I think for me, what went wrong against Wolves, what we have to put right today, that you see that Man United starting lineup, that's our best team. You don't need Pellistri, you don't need Sancho, you don't need McTominay, you don't need Maguire, don't need Lindelof, don't need Evans. You don't need Anthony. For me, I think Anthony's massively overrated after what I've seen of this season. I think for me at that moment in time, the team that played Thursday has got to start today. That for me is our best team. Our midfield 3 is solid enough as it is, with Casemiro, Mainu, and Bruno Fernandes. The front 3, again, that front 3 will probably be the same today. It will be Rashford, it will be Højlund, and it will be Alejandro Garnacho. The back 4 will probably be the same, because I don't know what's happened to Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Apparently he's either injured again or has been dropped. I don't know what's going on with Aaron Wan-Bissaka. But if Aaron Wan-Bissaka is injured again, Man United are going to have one hefty price tag to try and shift him out in the summer, because if he's got a bad injury and the injury is that severe, Man United are going to have a big, big problem trying to shift him in the summer. The only way Aaron Wan-Bissaka leaves this club is that he goes back to Crystal Palace and Man United get him involved in a swap deal to bring Mikel Elise in. That's the only way Aaron Wan-Bissaka will leave Man United, because no club will pay the fee that Manchester United are looking for. Not one club will do it, and especially with the wages Aaron Wan-Bissaka's on. We don't need Aaron Wan-Bissaka. He ain't good enough, but we don't need Diego Dalot. We don't need Luke Shaw. Yes, I thought Luke Shaw was good in that first half against Wolves, but second half was exposed. Luke Shaw can't do both halves. And I don't think Diego Dalot did either. Diego Dalot was awful, not just in the first half of that Wolves game, but the second half of that Wolves game as well. And I just don't think those two going forward are good enough. We need a Frimpong and an Alphonso Davies for that back 4 to make it more sturdy, more stable, and for that back 4 to stop conceding goals. Because as soon as Luke Shaw steps off and Dalot gets exposed, you've basically then got Varane and Martinez to do both of their jobs as well as their own, just to cover up Luke Shaw and Diego Dalot's mistakes. Both defensively are shocking. Going forward are both crap. The only decent thing, Shaw did was assisting for the Højlund goal. That was it. Apart from that, Nothing after that. Apart from that, absolutely fuck all. So, United, they've got players, but they've got players in this team that aren't at the level. If you had a Frimpong at right back and an Alphonso Davies at left back with Varane and Martinez either side of them, that is the best back four in the Prem. I'm holding my hands up now. That is the best back four in the Premier League by an absolute mile. But then again, you've got Bradley at Liverpool. You've got Reece James at Chelsea. You've got Trent at Liverpool. Reece James is injury prone. Trent and Bradley are way above, Reece James's level. I rate both players very, very highly at Liverpool. Jurgen Klopp has absolutely found an absolute gem in Bradley at right back, especially what he did to Chelsea last week in midweek, beating them 4-1, and Bradley scores on his debut and gets 2 assists. I mean, that is what you call a right back. We don't have that at Manchester United. We're stuck with Delo, injury-prone Wan-Bissaka, and a finished career-ending Luke Shaw. If you get rid of all three of them, we'd be a better team going forward, and defensively, we'd be solid as a brick. That's what I would say. But I'm not the one picking the team. I've got to back Erik ten Hag now. Like, even what's come out in the newspapers in this early hours of this Sunday morning, that Ten Hag doesn't feel that he's been efficiently backed properly in the transfer window. Thank you very much, Eric. Do you know what? You've absolutely got it spot on to the point. Your team isn't good enough. The players we got in aren't great either. And the problem is, you're bang on to the point that Erik ten Hag wasn't backed in January. He wasn't backed in January last year either. And as for that summer transfer window, complete joke again. And Erik ten Hag doesn't think he's been backed enough to get the players for the team that he needs to get Man United back to the top. He doesn't think the ownership's been great enough. He doesn't think the board have been great. Thank you. At least the manager is now getting this, because he said, and I quote, in the press conference against West Ham for the West Ham game, I was desperately trying to get a striker in, and we didn't get one. Down to the Glazers and the board again of this football club not backing the manager. And people will say, well, he was given Anthony, he was given Casemiro, he was given Martinez, he was given Sabitzer and Weghorst and Butland, he was given, Rasmus Højlund. I don't know what you're complaining at. I don't know what you're moaning at. That ain't good enough. Like, the only way Man United compete is you spend the type of money Chelsea have spent in 2 transfer windows, which is $1 billion. That is the only way you get successful on the pitch. And yes, that hasn't worked out at Chelsea because they've got Pochettino as their manager. But if you gave Erik ten Hag the money Poch has been given at Chelsea, Man United would be winning the league, because he'd be able to get every player that he wants. He'd get every signing he needs. Erik ten Hag would have been backed properly if he was Chelsea's manager. At Man United, it's, financial fair play, sell to buy. That's why our team is so shit. It's because the quality he needed to add to that team to build on it from last season, he didn't get that backing. And now we are paying those consequences for not backing the manager properly. And you know what? Let's hope that doesn't affect us for today's game. Let's hope we can, graft another Premier League win. But I don't want to see United stepping off their game when they're 2 or 3-0 up and then letting West Ham easily back into the game. Because if they do that, we'll see a repeat of Wolves. We will receive a repeat of Wolves, basically. We'll let them back in the game and we'll play sloppy football. We'll take our eye off the game. The concentration levels will drop. The heads will drop. Morale will drop. Confidence will drop. And we'll be at 6s and 7s again. And I think, again, the players are still all on, some of these players are basically trying to save their United career, because they know in the summer there's going to be a major rebuild. There's going to be a major clear out of some of these players, and some of them are going to have to fight for their futures. We all know who they are, and these players are basically, it's last chance saloon, really. We need to deliver these Premier League results. We need to qualify for Europe, because otherwise we're on the chopping block in the summer. And if we get offers, we know United are going to take it, because they want a rebuild. And that is what we do need. We need a major rebuild in the summer. We need to spend 500 to 600 million. And apparently, Erik ten Hag is still under pressure, but he doesn't feel like he deserves it, because like I said, the last 3 transfer windows have been a complete disgrace. They've been shit. They've not been good enough, and they've not efficiently backed the manager. And now he feels like he doesn't deserve the sack calls. Absolutely agree with him. I agree with Eric Ten Hag on that point. He does not deserve for people to calling him to get sacked. It's not his fault we're in this mess. It's not his fault that Man United are using every excuse in the book not to back the manager. You don't see any other Premier League or European club do it, so Man United shouldn't be doing it either. All this FPS and, FFP is a big load of bullshit just to cover up the incompetence at this club. And I think for me, Eric Ten Hag needs to be given another season. But if we were to lose today, the calls for the sack are going to be there. The calls of, well, this isn't good enough. This isn't going to work next season either. If this happens next season, the Mourinho recycle in history will repeat itself, because in season 3, Mourinho got sacked due to his own fault. And there's people, wanting Graham Potter. There's people wanting Jose Mourinho back. There's people wanting De Zerbi, the Brighton manager. Yeah, did you see what Luton did to Brighton in midweek? Has anyone seen Mourinho get sacked at Roma? Has anyone seen Potter since he was sacked by Chelsea? I mean, is he borrowing Harry Potter's invisibility cloak that his father left him in the first Harry Potter film, The Philosopher's Stone? I don't think so. Not for me. No, thank you. Because that would go back 10 times even more. Eric Ten Hag's the right manager. And I hope we get behind the team today, because we need to keep up this Premier League. We need to keep these Premier League winning runs going. We need to dismantle West Ham. I think West Ham, for me, are there for the taking. I think away from home, they're shocking. And I saw that with my own very eyes against Bristol City in the FA Cup. West Ham were shocking. When they went 1-0 down, Bristol City were pampering them, pestering them. They were like a cat. Bristol City were the cat, and West Ham were the pigeons. And those cats were having a field day chasing and pestering that West Ham team. City were all over West Ham. And again, if United can do that, this is going to be a comfortable Premier League afternoon. I'm going to go 3-0 Manchester United. I feel confident enough that Man United will beat West Ham today. West Ham, for me, are nothing without Bowen. They're nothing without Paqueta, nothing without Mohamed Kudus. And if Ward-Prowse in that team, West Ham are crap. West Ham are a B-Tech Fulham. You are absolutely mid-table team at best. David Moyes is now finding out the hard way in the last few games. I don't think West Ham have won a Premier League game in 3. So Man United have got a huge, huge point and a huge, huge advantage today that put West Ham to the sword, keep West Ham's woes going, put the pressure on David Moyes, because West Ham are going to be backs against the wall. But I just hope I do not see a Man United Wolves repeat what I saw on Thursday night, because I do not want to be put through that again, because that was agonising on the night till the 101 minutes. That was agonising the way we played and the way we performed. And I'm hoping tonight and today that Man United can get another Premier League win, another huge, huge 3 points. We'll go above West Ham if we were to win this game. We'd go above Brighton. We'd go above Newcastle. We would close in on Brighton and Aston Villa. We need to keep winning. We need to keep these points coming up, and we need to end this Premier League season on a massive high. If we can do that, fantastic. If we can qualify for Europe, brilliant, an extra bonus. And then obviously the end of the season, we'll be trying to get to the FA Cup final, trying to get to Wembley again and win the FA Cup this season. And then, I think the season's a positive one. It may not be the season I predicted. It may not be the season that I wanted, or any other Manchester United fan or Manchester United supporter expected this to happen. I didn't either. I'm as shocked and as disappointed as much as every other Man United fan and supporter that this season has been a complete utter car crash. It's been a nightmare. It's been Gordon Ramsay's Kitchen Nightmares USA. It's been hell on wheels. It's been a disaster. It's been just a complete... It's been a nightmare. It's been the nightmare before Christmas. It's been a crap season, but I'm hoping we can build on the Wolves win, take this into the West Ham game today. We win, huge 3 points, and, let's build on for the rest of the season after today's game. So I hope you enjoyed this preview. Hit the like button and the share button. Hit the subscribe button if you're new to the channel. United Red Devils 20 on YouTube. Share the video. Hit the tweet button. Hit the retweet button. Remember to always remember notification bell. Put the bell on all time so you receive dedicated content right throughout the rest of 2024 on the channel, on the community. We'll be doing our free giveaway this week. We've got an idea. We've finally settled on what, the free giveaway is going to be. Look out for that free giveaway this week for some very, very lucky people. There will be a live draw. There will be a live, rabbit out of the hat. We'll be picking names out of the hat for the lucky free giveaway this week for people as well. Put an exclusive out what that's going to be in the middle of the week as well. And then obviously, please join me for the Premier League match reaction later on this afternoon, later on today, after the final whistle at Old Trafford between Manchester United and West Ham. Hopefully, it's another Manchester United win. Hopefully, another 3 points. Let's put this West Ham team away. Let's shut up their bubbles. Let's turn off their bubble machine. Let's take their fairy liquid and their bubble bath and their shampoo and on the conditioner, and let's blow these West Ham bubbles out. And I'll see you on the next one.